Hello! Hello! Shit. This is so out of my comfort zone. Anyway, all right. My name is Ellice Giovanni, founder of Aligned Brainchanging Movement. You found me here on YouTube, and many questions I get asked in the comments is, who are you? Like, why have you popped up on my feed? Where have you come from? You never explain who you are. You actually don't even say your name. You get right into, the workouts, which is great, but maybe can we get a sit down video of your qualifications and who you actually are as a person? So here's your cup of tea that I made you earlier. We're going to sit down and have a chat. I might just have a drink first. It's fine, we're sharing virtually. So here you go, made you that. And I will, explain a little bit about me as a person. As I said, my name is Ellice Giovanni. I live on the Gold Coast in Australia, which is near some of the most magical and amazing surf beaches in the world. I'm very lucky to live where I am. I am a mother of one 12-year-old boy who's starting high school next year, and a wife to my amazing husband. I have 3 dogs. 2 of them I think you can see. That's the son of that one. That's the daughter of the other one who's sitting down there. And I also have a budgie. I had 2, but the other one flew away literally last week, so that's very sad. But that's all the animals I can handle now, no more. What else? I want to explain to you that I'm not just my qualifications. To me, qualifications are a journey to where I've gotten to today. I'm a 42-year-old female who loves so many things, which I will get into, but I believe what's most important is you found me because you were magnetized to my energy, and the energy that I give you in that exchange, you're also getting cool workouts and amazing, brain-changing movement ideas that have come from my qualifications. But I want you to feel into my energy a little bit more, because it is so much more important than, my degree that sits on the wall, etc. And I think that's because I could watch someone making bread on YouTube and love the entire video of what they're doing, watch someone else making the exact same bread and just be like, eh. So it's very much energy that we are exchanging when we are attracted to watch someone's content online. So that's cool. So with that being said, let's start with some weird things. Let's start with like 5 weird things that I do as a person, or that I love, or my hobbies and interests. I am 100% a nature girl. I think I'm a lizard, actually. Like, I'm solar powered. If it's a little bit cloudy, my energy dumps down. So I love the sun. I love being out in the sun. I love nature, just anything to do with nature. I'm all into it. Camping. I grew up fishing and camping as a kid with my dad. We were always out in nature. So I have, kept that part of me going and just thrive on that. And I need to do that in order to boost my energy back up so I can then give out to the world. So nature is a big part of me. And I'm also very connected to nature, as in the woo-woo side of me, the spiritual side of me is deeply connected to nature. And I write lots of poems and can connect almost through channeling when I am in nature, to the trees, to the bees, to the birds, to dragonflies. Dragonfly is like my spirit animal. I have had some crazy stories about dragonflies. One of them I gave CPR to, and it came back alive, kissed me on the lips, and flew away. And my husband can attest to that one. Okay, I'll tell you the story. I saw a dragonfly in the water. I picked it up and I was like, it was just stiff. It was cold and stiff. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. It must have, drowned in the water. And I'm like, anyway, I'm going to give it a little bit of CPR. And that comes from 10 years as a paramedic. I was a paramedic for 10 years, which I'll get into in a second. A little bit of CPR, a little bit of like energetic love. Come on, baby, come on. Opened my hand, didn't think much of it. And I was sort of saying something in my mind, I hope you fly into the eternal skies of love, blah, blah, blah. And it literally came alive. It flew up, kissed me on the lips, and it flew away. And I just looked at my husband, and he looked at me, and we just went, what the fuck? So yeah, love dragonflies for that reason. As a kid, I was always into movement, exercise, and being outdoors. So it is been natural for me to always be a mover. I've had a natural affinity to it, and just I believe I've been put on this earth to teach other people about this amazing thing that we live and own, which is our home, our human home. In all of my astrology charts and all of my gene keys and all of my bits and pieces, I am a teacher. And in every job I've ever chosen, I have chosen to help other people. So that's very specific to me as a person. After high school, I would say I'm an introverted extrovert. So high school, I kind of just went into sport and really used sport as a way to kind of hide, I guess. And that's how I made lots of friends through the sporting side of things. In grade 8, I remember the sports teacher putting hurdles out, a bunch of hurdles, and 100-meter hurdles. And they're like, we're doing hurdles today. And I was like, I've never seen these before. And when I jumped over the hurdles, I was just like, and I had an absolute natural ability to jump these hurdles, and I have no idea why. And I remember my sports teacher walked up to me and she's like, have you ever done that before? I was like, no. She's like, you need to get a coach and start training for 100-meter hurdles. And I remember that afternoon I was telling Mum, we rung up the local athletics track, we found a coach, and I started training for 100-meter hurdles. And I excelled in that sport pretty rapidly, making it to sort of the Australian titles, etc., in very short amount of time. Just, had a natural ability for it. So that's where I started my love for exercise, health, and wellness, was as a 100-meter hurdler. I did that all the way out of school as well. So from grade 8, probably till I was about 23. And then And in between that time, out of school until about 23, I became a personal trainer because that's all I knew I was good at. So I studied to be a personal trainer. I did a diploma of recreational fitness, became a personal trainer. Didn't satisfy me as much as I wanted to, so I needed something more. And I remember, this is a pretty crazy story, because we have in Australia, you have like a form to fill out to go to uni. And I know I wanted to do something like physiotherapy, osteopath. I didn't know what. So I was sitting at my old school dial-up computer. You know, the ones that dial up forever. You won't know if you're under a certain age. I'm 42. Did I say that? Showing my age. But I was sitting there dialing the computer up, and we lived on a main road. And I was like, all right, I'm going to put down physio and osteopath first and second, and then my third one I don't know yet. So as I was about to put that in, an ambulance flew past on the main road, and I looked at it, and I was like, that's cool. That'd be fun. Could I be a paramedic? That's pretty cool. Anyway, how weird's this? Number one, I thought I put in physiotherapy. But being P for physiotherapy, right under P was paramedic. And I accidentally put paramedic in the first slot. And as I looked at my things at the end, I'm like, okay, paramedics, physiotherapy, osteopath. And I was like, you know what? That's meant to be. I'm just going to leave that and see what happens. And lo and behold, I got into university and started studying to be a paramedic. So I did a Bachelor of Health Science and was a paramedic for 10 years on the Gold Coast and loved every minute of it. So weird, hey, how the universe is like. So I did that. Paramedics, I loved the anatomy and physiology of every patient that came in front of me. I just geek out and nerd out on the human body. So that kind of made up my big, I guess, understanding of the human body and how it moves and functions and internal and externally functions. After 10 years as a paramedic though, the shift work did me in. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I have to be able to sleep at night because 1, I'm a healthy person, 2, I like exercising and training, and 12-hour shifts is not conducive or conducive to my lifestyle. So after 10 years, I ended my journey of being a paramedic. It was the hardest choice I ever made because I almost find it was like a cult. It was like they kind of make you think that there's nothing else out there other than being a paramedic. So it was a bit weird. But I ended the paramedics and I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I have no idea who I am as a person because all I know is Ellice as a advanced care paramedic. And I just remember I don't want to be around too many humans because I just need a break from people and helping people, I guess. So I ended up going to a local farm out where I live, and I asked them if they had any work on the farm. And I literally went from like $2,000 a week, fortnight, I don't know, I can't remember, as a paramedic down to like $20 an hour on this farm. So it was a big lifestyle change. And I started working on this farm, pulling weeds out of the veggie gardens, planting, kale, cutting bananas down from the trees, building fences, painting walls, and I bloody loved it. I thought it was just so healing for myself coming out of that 10-year experience as a paramedic, for my mind and my emotions and just a reset on my body. And I did that for a solid year, just working outside in nature by myself. It was, I loved it so much. Then I discovered that a local health retreat near me was asking for a trainer. And I was like, I could do that. I am a personal trainer. So I put my resume in there and instantly got the job. They were like, yeah, we'll have an advanced care paramedic / personal trainer on our team. So I worked at the health retreat, and I still work at health retreats in Australia currently to this day. I think that was 2018 I started working at the health retreat. And when I started working at the health retreat, that's where I started implementing my movements to people, in classes. I had free range of what classes I wanted to teach people coming in. And I started educating people on movement and range of motion and mobility and how important it is to move our body in full range of motion and internally move our body externally. So using our joint structures to help move and flow our lymphatic system. So I started doing that way back then in 2018. And as I journeyed through my time at health retreats up until now, as I said, I still work at a health retreat. I started studying a little bit more about the neurology side of things because I sort of sat down one day and went, well, there's nothing down here in our body that isn't functioned from up here. So I need to understand when I do move this and when I do flow inside of me, what is it targeting and what is it stimulating in my brain when I do it? So I studied with a team in the States and I studied functional neurology, and game changer. That absolutely blew my mind. It affirmed everything that I was literally teaching. I just couldn't believe that I was, channeled this information that I was teaching people, and then it affirmed it perfectly via science. I was like, this is incredible. But that led me on to the aligned Brainchanging Movement business that I now have and run full-time and teach people full-time about the incredible thing that lives up here, which is our master switch that controls and moves and functions and fires everything internally and externally on the outside of our body. So yeah, that's a little bit of a rundown of how I got to where I am today. Funny story about YouTube though. I think I started YouTube probably in like 2016. I can put the stats up. I can't remember. 2016, years ago. And I'm not even joking you. You can go back to all of my videos way back then. It's a flat line. I had like maybe 200 followers until about 2022. And then it just started peaking a little bit. And then from 2024 to 2025, it's just gone pow. And it's just substantially grown from 2 videos that have gone viral, which I never in a million years thought that would happen. So now my son's like, oh, my mom's a YouTuber. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm a functional neurologist. I love doing YouTube because it's a platform that I can get to teach so many people, and that feeds my extrovert. I'm actually an introverted extrovert. Like, give me a stage and I will be a keynote speaker in front of 500 people and absolutely just vibe up the crowd, be super extroverted. But if you put me in a social environment situation, you know, a club or a party or something like that, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm very introverted and I love my own time. I love being on my own. But YouTube is the ability for me to be like, la, and teach and educate and show and perform and allow my creativity to come out. So thank you, YouTube gods, for allowing people to see my stuff. Love that. All right. I don't want to keep you too much longer, so I don't even think I answered my initial question of let me tell you 5 quirky things about myself. So let's get into those. I was a cheerleader when I was younger. I was never actually very good at dancing, but all my friends cheerleaded. So they're like, at least come along, you'll be fine, you'll get in. So I got in by doing the heavy lifting stuff. That was a lot of fun. What are some other quirky things about me? Here's a weird one. If I see roadkill on the side of the road, like freshly squished, not too squished, but like freshly killed, oh, this sounds terrible, I cannot drive past it. I have to stop. I have to take it off the road and I have to put it in the earth and give it a little burial. It's just, to me, it's like, can you imagine you get squished on the side of the road and that's your last resting place? I'm like, no, these animals deserve so much better. So if it's a bird or an owl or you know, a lizard or something like that, I have to do what I can to try and make their last resting place just a little bit more special and kind of say thank you for their life. So that's a really weird, quirky thing for me. There's 2 weird ones. 3, my background. I get a bit of questions about this. I was born and bred in Australia. My mother was born in Australia, but her background is Scottish. And my father and his side of his family are Serbian, born in Serbia. So I'm not Italian. I am married to an Australian man, but his family come from Italy, hence the Di Giovanni. I was an Ivanovic before getting married. So that explains. I do look quite Italian, you know, so I get why people are like, Di Giovanni from Italy. I'm like, not really, but yes. What else? That's about it, really. I love clean sheets. I love op shopping. I said I love nature. Yep. I love my own time and space. Very much needed in my life, just to be alone. That's how I fill my own cup up. Okay, here's one. I'm going to leave the video with this. I am what you see is what you get. I am actually quite an authentic person, and hopefully that's the reason why you're drawn to my energy, which means I cannot spill out creativity on demand. And I find social media forces us to be to push out content more than we can actually think about creating it. So, and you'll see in my videos, it's very rare that you see cuts and takes on my videos. What you see is what you get, meaning if I stand up to do a workout, it's actually pouring in to me. The ideas are just channeling in on the spot and I can deliver that to you, which means I need to be in the creative space to do that and I cannot force it. So that may mean that you're not going to get a video every week because creativity doesn't flow to me every week. I might have a month or 2 where I'm just like, hello, what do you want me to share? And nothing comes through. I do have a backup of stuff that I've, you know, filmed, etc. But it may be that once a fortnight or, you know, I have a break every now and then of delivering content. And I think that's important to understand because the people that are spitting out videos either every 3 days or weekly kind of lose that authenticity to me, and I tend to not want to watch them. So that's a big one for me, and a high priority for me is to make sure that my videos come from a place of true authenticity and energetic frequency. Like I want them to feel really good energetically. So that means I have to be in the right headspace to do it. So that's that. But other than that, I now hope you understand who I am as a person. Yeah, I'm just little old me, and I film all my stuff usually in my home, so nothing fancy, and I'll never give you probably fancy. I've got a little microphone that people tell me that it's shit and whatnot. That's fine. I do it because I love it. It's because it's my passion. So I'm not in it for the money. I'm not in it for the fame. And I've always been like this. People tell me, Ellice, your work could go all over the world. You could make millions of dollars off your work. And I'm like, to me, where I feel the most richest is when I have time to sit by a creek in the sun reading my own book. That to me is how I feel so rich doing that, which means I have to give a little bit, but take a little bit for myself as well. So I could work 7 days a week flat out, but I'm never going to, because I love my own time, and I love, having time in this overwhelming world we live in. Time, I think, is of essence, and it is truly wealthy, and to be fully enriched in your richness is to have time. So that's a big one for me. All right, I will leave you with that. So there you go. There's a little bit about me. I hope you enjoyed that, and now you understand how I got to, creating content for you, and finally, like I said, YouTube finally picking it up and showing people. Thank you. It means the world to me to be able to share this sort of stuff. Always read your comments. I try and write back to as many people as possible. So write in some things that you want me to share, and I will happily, do up some little videos. I will see you in the next video, whatever that may be, whenever that may be, whatever topic that may be, who knows? Other than that, thanks for listening. See you later.